Welcome back, everybody. This here is Vintage. I got OG over here.
Say what's up. This episode. Oogale.
I got Weezy.
Oh, yo,
Weezy, what's going on? And Demias, obviously, as well. Welcome back, y'all both.
Thank you, everyone.
This is going to be an episode basically just talking about the light fighters of the game that are currently accessible. We're not going to go into concepts or anything like that. May go into a little bit of theory crafting, but for the most part, we're just kind of give personal opinions on light fighters, and we got a little list going on.
On the pew-pews.
On the pew-pews, yeah, that's right.
On the pew-pews.
But, so let's get right into it, guys. So we got Car2All first up, which is, what is that? The, oh my God, the APOA. The APOA Car2All. Good Lord.
I love that ship.
That's the GN, right?
That got me into the game, yeah.
Yeah. What,
so I have not flown that ship yet.
No.
Yeah, actually,
I have not flown it yet.
Y'all need to. It's fun as all get out. It's so the animations for when it takes off and lands, like it actually like adjusts the thrusters and everything like that. So when you're flying, you're actually
cool.
vertical, and then when you land,
really?
you go horizontal. It's really cool. I enjoyed flying it.
Yeah. And the thrusters themselves are like omnidirectional. It's like, although right now they might not work as intended, in the future when everything is in place, that's going to be a very difficult ship to fly against, because it's going to be able to zip in and out and do all kinds of different crazy maneuvers. And it's supposed to be super stealthy as well.
Yeah, I think what is it like? So the Fury and the other one that's coming out, the Santakai, all those thrusters, including the Car2All, are all supposed to have those omnidirectional thrusters, and they're definitely going to be a different beast when that thing goes gold standard.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, the Car2Al, was that the one that had the slightly buggy geometry that was locking people out of the ship?
Yes, it was. Pretty much.
Yeah.
When you'd spawn it, it'd like turn to the side a little bit and you couldn't get in.
Yeah, I remember I wanted to try it out, but at that time it was having that bug. I think it's been fixed though, correct?
It has.
I haven't tried it. I've only been in that ship like once or twice. But as far as like when I actually flew it, I had a blast in it because just of how nimble it was. I didn't like the fact, though, I know it's a light fighter, but it only had like, what, 2 size 2 or 2 size 1 guns on it, so I was just kind of like, meh. And I don't even know if it has any missiles. Does it have any missiles, Weez?
Nope, no missiles. It only has 2 size 2s. But, I mean, if you're a good pilot, because of the way it flies and how nimble it is, you can really do some damage with it.
Are they gimbaled size 2s to where you can upgrade them to a size 3 or no?
No, you can't. You can't upgrade them. Yeah.
Well,
I had actually bought the Santok Yai before I knew anything about the store. I just went to the pledge store. I was like, "Oh, this ship looks cool. I'm buy it." Bought it. Went into the game. I was like, "Where's my goddamn ship?" But they left me with the Car2All, so I got some pretty good time with it, and I love that little thing. It's not the best. You could really only do combat and like scouting with it, but it is a blast to fly.
Yeah. I think CIG got you like what's the comedian's name? Dave Chappelle. Got you, bitch. That's what came to mind when you were like, "Where's my ship?" CIG was like that. But have any of y'all flown the Buccaneer?
I have flown it once or twice.
Such a glass cannon.
It is.
I have not flown that ship. That's one of the ones I haven't tried.
It is. But I think it's one of the coolest light fighters that there is, because it reminds me a lot of like the A10 Warthog.
Yep.
And it's a very fucking cool ship. I enjoy it.
So I know it's got the top that is like gimbaled size 3, so you can swap it out to a size 4. And then it's got 4 other guns on the wings. So this thing's got like 5 hard points, I think it is, and a couple of missiles.
Yeah.
The thing is wicked when it comes to firepower, but as far as like it being able to take a hit, it's like what D said. It's a glass cannon.
It is.
It's fun to fly. I'm not gonna lie, because I have been in it and I have flown it, and I've done some dogfighting in it against NPCs because I don't do shit against players. But what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a decent ship. I think if you're soloing, I don't think it would be a good one to use, because if you have ballistics on it, they'll run dry pretty quick, and then its main benefit is already taken away. But if you're part of a bigger squadron, I think bringing a Buccaneer just for some very nimble, very hard-hitting firepower is always a good option. The only downside is the main drawback. I think it's one of the squishiest ships I've ever flown.
Okay. Weez, were you going to say something?
Only light fighter from Drake?
I think so. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I don't. According to the list that I went through, I don't see any other Drake ships on here. The Drake Buccaneer is the only one I know of.
Interesting.
We got pretty much the pride and joy of Aegis Dynamics next, right? Aegis Dynamics.
Yeah.
Is the Gladius. That is, it's gold standard.
Yeah.
3 hard
Gladius
points.
the goat.
Gladius is the goat.
Gladius the goat.
A light fighter right now, I'd say so.
Yeah.
What about it compared to the Arrow, though?
Like, nah, Gladius is better.
Yeah.
Really?
Gladius.
Yeah.
Is it like
Gladius?
Is it because of hit points, or is it just maneuverability, or?
Me personally, the Gladius is so easy to get used to. It's got a great field of view. It's an easy ship to use.
Okay.
As far as the Arrow is way too fast for most starting people.
I gotcha.
So, I'm just a big fan of the Gladius. I had the Powered Gladius and had it for about 6 months and just loved every bit of it. Every time I got in, I had a blast.
Okay. Please.
For me, performance aside, it's just aesthetically pleasing, personally. It has a lot of bells and whistles on it. Like, it's gold standard, when you enter the ship, you hit all the little knobs.
Yep.
It looks cool. And I also like the different variants of it, the Pirate Gladius, and I can't remember what the other one is.
The Valiant.
Yeah, the Valiant.
Yeah. But even just a regular one, I think it just looks awesome. Like, you look at that Gladius, and it just screams light fighter. And it's like, not too modern, but still gives you like spaceshipy vibes. You know?
Yeah. It's a very appeasing ship to look at. I like the Pirate Gladiator. I like it a lot. A lot.
I like the paint job. Yeah. D, what are your thoughts on Gladius?
I love it. When I think Star Citizen, it's one of the first ships that come to mind. I think it has a strong identity in the community. I think as far as piggyback on what OG was saying, it is a very good ship for a new player to pop in. It's very balanced for its control, maneuverability, firepower, shield, all of it. And not to mention, again, piggybacking off of what we said, is it has all the bells and whistles included, including ship storage, weapon storage, which is very good for the solo player. So going back to that comparison, usually when people like to compare them, it's always against the similar arrow. Arrows are they have a bigger curve when it comes to the finer controls.
Right.
In the current meta, things like the arrow benefit heavily off of tactics like pip wiggling. But I do believe, and I don't think that we've actually mentioned it yet, but the whole combat change is coming up and what that's going to do to light fighters overall, right?
Master modes.
Yeah, master modes is going to flip everything on its head in a good way.
I was about to ask, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's going to put all of these people on a somewhat more equal playing field. On we're going to have to learn all new mechanics and everything. So I'm hoping to see this skill gap kind of within Star Citizen kind of like shrink. Okay. So like everyone's a little more capable.
The way everybody can have fun.
But what I'm really hoping to see out of the combat revamps, I mean, I don't want to go too heavily into that now since we're just talking about.
That's a big part of them. It's a big part of it.
Yeah, I was just going to stick on the Gladius, but yeah, I think the combat master mode changes is going to completely redefine light fighters as a whole, right?
I agree with that. My biggest concern though with master modes is as far as the information that I've heard and read about so far is you have to swap in between modes. So if a mantis is in its combat mode, which I would assume would cause the interdiction to happen, right? And you're in, let's just say a Corsair for sake of argument, or a Star Runner, whichever. Something a little bit bigger that's more of a multi-crew type deal. And they're in quantum travel. When they come out, are they automatically sent into combat mode at that point? Can you change modes while being interdicted? And if they're restricted to an SCM speed, I would assume that you'd be able to outrun them if you didn't go into combat mode.
Yeah.
Right?
Those are very, very good points.
You know what I mean?
I hadn't really considered that. So I would say how they might handle the Mantis and the Quantum, because it not only has the interdiction, but it has the snare too, like the two of them, right?
Right.
So maybe instead of outright blocking quantum travel, it might stop you from being able to spool, or it might stop you from changing modes instead of just.
I don't think the Mantis's interdiction and quantum snare and all that are going to change in that aspect. I just the main thing is that so the Mantis is got its stuff up, like let's just say it's hanging out around R Corp or whatever, and somebody's coming into R Corp with a load of cargo on a Connie, and it doesn't have any kind of fighter support, and it's solo player, right? And you got a squad of like 4 people, and one of them's a Mantis. The Connie, when it's in travel mode, not like quantum drive or anything like that, it can reach a higher top speed when it's just in like free fly mode. We'll just use that term because I don't remember what the other one was. So it, in all actuality, it should be able to outrun. But the argument is so why can't the Mantis just swap over, catch up, because I think it's faster, and then pull its swap back over to combat mode and turn its QED on. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
that argument that's going around from what I've seen on Spectrum and things like that. Like the idea of people have very little information is what I'm getting at on master modes, and they're already trying to think of ways to fudge the system. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it that's what makes me wonder how master modes is really gonna affect it. Like as far as like if we're just talking about dogfighting in general, I think it's gonna change up the game completely. But I also think it's gonna change up the game in a different format that I don't know if all those formats have been realized in the first iteration of master modes.
Yeah.
And I think there's still going to be some tweaking after that.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I could see that.
that was, I don't know, like I've just been watching a bunch of different people and hearing a bunch of different conversations on it. That it's just like, man, they got points, and it's scary to think about, but then again, it's exciting to think about because it's.
Well, I was going to say, let's look at what we do know. They did state that swapping between modes is not going to be an instantaneous thing, right?
That's true.
All right. And we know that there's going to be a build-up between it.
And then you also have the charge time for the QEDs for the Mantis and all that.
And spooling time, right? So like, it really depends how that's going to work. So are we going to have to change to quantum travel mode, and then once the power's transferred and all that other stuff, are we then going to be able to spool, right? Because that's gonna increase the time by a massive factor.
So maybe they might have to implement something like quantum protection, where like you have like a certain amount of time after you exit quantum to decide what mode you want to
I'm
get into.
probably betting that you're gonna get, if it rips you out of quantum, it's gonna default you to the lowest possible speed setting,
Yeah.
right?
To get prepared for combat, yeah.
Right. And then once you're out of that, you're gonna have your quantum spool down time like normal, right? So that's going to be like a 20-second timer. And then after that is when you could start, I could see them start being able to change what type of travel. So like, right? Like if you look at the whole cycle of our spool system now, like none of it's instantaneous. Like,
You got spool and calibration.
and then unspool.
Cooldown, yeah. A cooldown from when you jump, especially like if it's a far distance, you have a cooldown timer.
And then if you take note on things like Urkel and stuff, each of those drives that you have, the type of drive, whether it's military, industrial, civilian, grade, whatever, all of those spool times and cooldown times are all different. So now your choice on what you're taking, right? So like, now what if you're worried about getting interdicted during a shipping, right? Now you're going to want a drive that could re-spool very quick and has a very quick cooldown, right? And that might not necessarily be the fastest drive, but it's a drive that would better be suited in situations like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see how that would, and then that starts playing a thing and people choosing different quantum drives and stuff. Yeah, I can see that.
Instead of always going for the fastest one.
Yep. Interesting thought.
Very cool.
So, moving on with our list on ship talks, though, we got the Arrow up next, which is basically the competition to the Gladius. That, for me, the Arrow is. I said this during the starter pack episode with OG that I feel like it has a constant supply of crack cocaine.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just so dang fast. Like I can't. When I get like if I ever get in the ship, like the first thing I do when I turn it on is I immediately turn down the SCM limiter. because I can't. You make it go up, and it's almost instantaneous, and you're almost about to smack the top of the hanger or something. So it's like you got to turn that down so it's a nice, easy movement.
Yeah,
But
the arrow is extremely quick. It is insane how that thing can turn on a dime and go the other direction before you can even realize which way it's supposed to be going.
right.
And it's crazy. This ship is extremely fast, just like you said. It's always snorting that stuff, man.
What are y'all's thoughts on it?
I like the Arrow. I thought it was a cool ship. That was my first upgrade from Aurora. I upgraded from Aurora to the Arrow before I knew what was what.
Mm-hmm.
I was this is just strictly off of looks, you know. No, was it the Aurora? No, it was a Mustang. I went from the Mustang to the Arrow.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I went from one fighter to another, and it was cool. I used that Arrow, and I used it to grind up enough money doing bounties in order to buy a Cutlass Black in game.
Okay.
So it served its purpose.
Yep.
It's not a bad choice to pick from starter for a starter ship, but you're just going to be locked into one type of gameplay for a little bit.
Yep. Strictly pretty much just space combat, unless you try to do like bunkers or something like that.
Yeah.
Especially now that does it have a weapons rack?
Storage? I don't know.
I don't think it has any logistics capabilities at all. That's one of the drawbacks
For being so
between
small,
it.
yeah.
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 So if we had to correlate the Arrow and the Gladius to IRL fighters, what would remind you of the jet fighters that we have today with the Arrow? Takers.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
A nice nimble MiG.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the small, single engine MiGs,
Yeah.
like from back in the day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about the Gladius? 'Cause I'm thinking like an F-16, F-15.
Yeah, Gladius screams American muscle.
Yeah.
F-22
all the way.
After.
F-22. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. F-16, yeah, definitely. F-16,
Yeah, I was gonna say like F-16.
The bombs on the wings, definitely.
Yeah.
So, moving right along, we got the newest addition to the light fighter category, which is the Fury, which we were touching base on that earlier with the whole Gian tech with the thrusters moving around. What's everybody's opinion on that? OG?
Question.
So, go ahead, please.
Real quick. Is that a light fighter or is that a sub?
I thought it was a light.
I might be wrong. I'm just questioning here, but just wanted to throw that out there.
Because it doesn't have a quantum drive, does it?
Yeah, it would be a snub. Well, we're going to talk about it anyway.
Yeah, we're already here, so. We're already here, and I want to talk about it. So, I'm sure y'all have seen Jurassic Park. Right? So you know Jurassic World. I'm sorry. When the kids get in that glass ball and they ride around the park in it, that's what I think of. It's like someone took that glass ball and duct taped some big ass guns to it.
Honestly, wait, which one are we talking?
The Fury. The one that's out of context for the list that we have, but whatever.
It looks like someone took a hammerhead turret and said, "Let's make this a ship."
There you
I
go.
don't know how else to put it.
But man, that little ship is fun as hell to be in. It is fun. It is really good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said, let's take a turret and give it some thrusters. Boom.
Exactly.
Thrusters and wings.
Exactly.
Oh, there is a if you guys are familiar, in one of the old Gundam series, they had like a little floating balls that would just like they
I
had like
remember
little
that.
cannons on them. It was
really?
the old original one,
Yeah,
like
that's.
from like the 70s or whatever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
don't
is
remember
cool.
that one.
Yeah, that made me think about that one as well.
So what's cool about the Fury is that there's two different variants to it. Got
There's
your
about to be a
missile
third.
variant. Is it really?
From what I hear.
Gonna be a. So we've got the missile variant and then the repeater variant. I think. Is it
Yeah.
repeater or ballistics?
It's repeaters.
Okay.
You
that's
can
what I
change
thought.
them out. You can put
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
you want on there.
But that little ship is so much fun, man. You throw a couple of those in the ship.
Mm-hmm.
How many did you fit? You had like 5 or 6 in the 890.
It was quite a
Didn't
few when I did do it.
It was a bunch. Jump in it, man. Call your buddy out. Tell him I sucked at flying, and run into him.
Did you
Yeah.
ever? It was back during episode 3. We were talking about the cutter, and you said you were gonna try and test fit a Fury.
I
back.
haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm
Sounds
still
like
going
you took
to.
my advice. Okay, maybe you did.
No, I'm gonna try it. I'm sure it's gonna go really, really bad, but I want to try it.
I think
Can you
it,
imagine?
what's up?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think it's pretty cool that it's a collab between two different
Yeah.
companies.
Yeah.
Right? Is that a first?
The Mariah Fury.
Yeah.
So, I think
No, I
Lore-
think
Mariah
Aegis-
is owned by Misk.
Yeah.
I believe it was the Astro Historian that started talking about. I heard him talking on another podcast about how the company split, and not well. I'm not gonna say split. Like they had a division about Mirai and Misk, and Misk finally said, "Okay, build it," and which solidified Mirai.
But they collab with the Xeon tech.
Yes,
with the-
even Misk itself has Xi'an inspired like design and technology lore wise. Yes.
Gotcha.
So that's why the similarities between the Fury and the Cartual, and then soon to be the Santaki Eye whenever it comes out, it'll have the engine similarities is where that Xi'an tech comes from.
Gotcha.
But so probably one of my most aesthetically pleasing favorite ships is next, and it is the Reliant Tana.
Yeah.
Because this sucker throws Star Wars vibes all day long, and I can't help but love it because of that. So, but it starts out as like a horizontal plane, and then when you take off, its wings rotate and now becomes vertical, and it has like some gimbal thruster looking things and whatnot too, which are pretty cool. It has a VTOL mode. It's got like 2 turrets on each, one on each wingtip, and then it's got a whole bunch of missiles and everything. It's actually a really cool ship if you like mod it out and customize it a good way. But what is everybody else's thoughts on it? Demias?
I have not been able to fly it yet.
Yeah, I
Haven't had
haven't.
a chance.
I
No?
haven't.
Neither one
flown
of
I
you?
it.
have not. I have not.
I've flown it.
Okay, well then, Weez, what's your thoughts on it? You two.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Well, okay, so actually, I take that back. I haven't flown Tana. I have flown the Mako, which is the reporting version
Okay.
of it. 'Cause I was testing out those camera on the wing capabilities. So I've got a feel for how it flies, but I haven't flown something like the Tana that has the combat capabilities. But I do think it's a pretty cool ship. I love the way that it changes direction,
Yeah.
like orientation. When you raise the landing gear, I have a soft spot for all the ships that do that kind of stuff. It reminds me of like a transformer.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the Reliant Tana, but it was the Reliant Core was one of the ships that I upgraded my starter pack to when I first started out. It was one of them. That was actually this ship also, especially the Reliant Core, because I went back, going back to episode 1, it was the ship that I was in that I sideswiped our Carrick in when I first joined y'all. Y'all remember that, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Weez, I'm sure you were there too, weren't you? Or at least you heard about it.
So much a side swipe, more like a missile to the center of the ship.
Look, man.
Boom.
Look, I mean, you could have just went with the flow.
Goodness.
I mean, we'll scrape.
No, you should call him out like that. Everybody calls me out. He calls me out every other episode for me running into him. Losing his subscriber gear.
I heard he was like a kamikaze bomber.
Yeah, it was like he put his Aurora or whatever his starter ship was. It was like the first day he was with us. And he put
I
it on
was literally 2 weeks
autopilot.
fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, he put it on autopilot and pointed it at the big group of names in space. Well, he has good aim.
Put that bitch on cruise control and just was like, what's going on? Playing on my phone. Like moments before that too, I had fireballed on Lyria, by the way. Like I was full burn to the surface, like because I was trying to get there and go to the bathroom real quick, apparently, and I had, yeah.
When I had first purchased the Carrick, I was heading to an org event. It was my first event with this group.
Mm-hmm.
I plowed into Microtech's surface with a fresh Carrick. Man, it's just so different compared to like all the others. I was like, why ain't it slowing? Why ain't it slowing?
Put it in reverse,
My
Terry.
goodness. Back it up.
Put it in reverse.
My goodness. So, up next on our list of beautifully picked ships is the Avenger Titan. I have a love-hate relationship with this ship. I really do. So this was my first upgrade from the Aurora, or from I can't remember what my starter pack ship was. Can't remember it.
Pretty sure it was the Aurora.
I think it was. But this was my first upgrade, and when I think you had just shown me Urkel, right? So I was trying to figure it out on my own, not ask nobody for help. So I bought the quantum drive for it, fastest one, didn't even ever think about fuel. So I had it fully kitted out, spent like the $90K that I had earned, and couldn't get nowhere. I couldn't even get to Hurston.
It's because you had the VK00 and not the Atlas.
And it upsetted me so bad that I traded the ship in. It was my fault. 100% was my fault. I got rid of the ship and bought something else.
You didn't even realize you could just swap out this.
Nope.
He was like, I should have went with something else. Didn't ask nobody. He just went and got a different ship, I guess. So what did you get? The Cuddy or was it the Andromeda?
No, I think I got the Glady after the Avenger Titan.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I got the Pirate Glady. I got the Pirate Glady after that because I was going through
Pirate Glady.
No, I had bought the Pirate Glady after that. I don't remember what I traded the Avenger Titanium for.
So you did the Pirate Swarm in Arena Commander?
Mm-hmm.
I think most of us did the one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all did it. We had like an event go on one day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we all spent the day and unlocked it for everyone.
Yeah, yeah. But I have a love-hate. I think it's a great looking ship. I think it's cool. It's got a bed in it too. Little cargo area.
Oh, the Titan. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I forgot we were talking about that. For a minute.
It's not bad. It's pretty cool.
I think it's a cool ship.
Yeah.
I think if you're just willing to spend a little more money, it's the perfect starter ship to start off with. If you're willing to spend just a little more, it's a perfect startup fighter ship because it's good in a dogfight, and you get some decent cargo space in there. You could sleep on it.
Yep.
Yep. It's a good
that'll be
multi-role
able
ship.
to- Yeah, exactly. You'll be able to do a little more with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll tell you, I'd upgraded from my Aurora to that, as that was one of my first upgrades.
Mm.
And the whole reason I did was because it reminded me of the space shuttle from NASA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah,
it
we
does.
mentioned that in the starter pack episode. We
Mhm.
called it, I think it was a space penguin or whatever. It was
Yeah.
Yep. I enjoy it. What we got next, OG?
We have the Aurora CL.
That is the fighter variant.
Eh.
Yeah.
I know of that ship because it has blown me up multiple times in Arena Commander. It's like I'm playing nowhere. I get blown up by Aurora every time. It's Pirate Storm every time. It's an Aurora, and I'm like, "What the hell just killed me?" I look back and it's an Aurora. I'm like, "God damn it!"
That thing has
So
four-
much so, I actually tried using it in game. I mean, it didn't last long, but it wasn't the same effect. But I was like, I gotta try this thing. But
Doesn't that thing have like 4 hard points
yeah, it has quite a bit of firepower.
Yeah, it does.
on that
It
tiny
does,
little
but,
maneuverable ship? 4 hard points. Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
That's just how I
So.
feel about it.
Do what?
That's
Eh?
that's how I feel about it.
That's how you feel about it?
Up next is the 325A.
Yeah.
Let Demias talk about that one.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting on.
Why me? All right. So when it comes to, I only have experience for the baseline 300i. I'm not a fan of its performance when it comes to combat. I don't even like the way it maneuvers, to be honest. I just think it's stylish.
And here I
Aesthetically
was sitting over
pleasing.
here,
It is,
sitting over here thinking you loved it.
No, I do. I do. And actually, while recording this, I'm currently in a 300i on my way from Port Olisar to Microtech. I don't use it for combat, but
Yeah.
when I have to go from point A to point B, when I'm doing shopping trips, when I just want to show someone new the game and I want to show them a really cool interior that you could design and like just what's possible with it, I show them the 300i because it does have everything, right? It has a little bit of weapons, right? It has some storage. But most of all, it has that style that says "I got money," and
Yeah.
and
that-
then
Space Beamer.
yeah, it
that's
is the
exactly
Space
what it is.
Beamer. Yeah,
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
I'll tell you what, Demias, you're not the only one with a blacked out one. Me and Cloak both went ahead and made blacked out 300 eyes.
right. Like
We
it's
pretty much
awesome.
have matching ships, me, you, and Cloak. I
Like
think
I
Jazz
gotta
has
join
one
the
too.
crew.
Yeah, like I didn't mean for it to sound like I'm sitting there bad talking the ship. I love the ship. It's just I love
It's
it
not a
for
fighter.
different reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I completely agree with you on every aspect. It's too pretty to. It's too pretty to go beat up.
I'll tell you what, I have the 325A. And it's black. Like that's the one thing that I like about the 300 series. Regardless whether it's the 300, what is it, the 315, the 325, and the 350R, you can still customize them all.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I like about those Origin ships that you can do that with. I wish the rest of them did that, but I
Right.
mean, it is what it is. It's whatever. But as far as getting around, I like it. I'm not gonna dogfight in it because it maneuvers like.
Yeah.
I'll be nice. It doesn't maneuver very well. Okay.
Yeah, and when that back spoiler gets damaged, it maneuvers even worse.
Yeah.
Yes, it does, and I can attest to that, and I'm sure you can too, because it is. What kind of aggravates me though? Have you seen the concept for the 300?
I have not.
So you know how the wings come up and meet in the center, right, over the back of the ship.
Yep.
So there were supposed to be hard points that go in there, and they looked so cool. So and they had hard points underneath the wing, but they were also supposed to have hard points in between the spaces of the wings where it kind of like makes that triangle form.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so cool. And I'm sad that they did not actually. Yeah, the concept drawing, they had weapons right there, and it looked amazing.
It's
I
still
thought
subject to change, though.
Yeah, I know, but I wish
It's not gold standard yet.
I wish
I mean,
it's
look
not?
at the 600. Well, no. Look at the 600i now,
Yeah.
and then look at what the 600i is about to be. So, it's still subject to change.
Yeah, that's true. They're doing a whole new rework on that one. That one's going to be interesting to see.
Aren't they doing a bunch to the Reclaimer?
Not that
So a
I've
ton
heard.
of things.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're.
I thi-
I thought they were reworking half the interior design for it.
I believe so.
I have no idea. I haven't heard anything on it. I know they're doing the whole Munchin thing, but that's about the only thing I've heard on it.
Nope. I'm gonna stamp this as confirmed. They are definitely reworking the interior of the
The Reclaimer?
Reclaimer, which is a massive ship for anyone who's unfamiliar.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Got
But
lost in that one for the first time.
The interior, that is why the rework's coming. The interior is labyrinthian, and there is a lot of wasted space.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So they're
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is the 300 gold standard or no?
I have no idea.
I don't think it is.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was, but then again, I mean, I'm not sure which ones they've gold standard. I thought the Gladius and a few others were the only ones that were gold standard, but I don't know if the 300 was on that list or not.
Gladius, Saber, and Cutlass.
Really, the Cutlass?
Yep. Cuddy Black is
not the
gold
rest of
standard. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you all say gold standards, can you explain that to myself and the viewers? What exactly the gold standard means?
So, as far as I understand it, gold standard. So, like, you remember when they were talking about the Gladius, how you get in it, and when you start up the ship, like basically just power it on, you'll see your character start flipping a bunch of different switches. The Gladius also has internal storage, as i.e. like gun rack, and you can open a bunch of different compartments. Things are a lot more interactable on the ship itself. That's how every ship is supposed to be. When it comes to the fighters. Now, every small fighter ship, because of the recent updates, have an internal storage locker accessibility, like a lot better than what they didn't have. But there's only a few of the fighters that I'm aware of. Like, I know the Ion and the Inferno have this to where you can go through and kind of open up some of the compartments. You can't open all of them, but you can open some of them. And it does have a weapon storage. So there's a few of these different ships that are like one-seaters and stuff like that, that they're starting to make it to where things are more interactable. And as far as I know, when it comes to gold standard, like they're supposed to make it to where like there's like certain startup sequences for like each ship. Like in the Gladius, you'll see the guy like starting to sit there and flip a whole bunch of switches, and it's actually really cool to see.
Yeah.
Just another detail of immersion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those switches as well also, like when you're not doing that startup sequence, if you're just holding the F interact, you'll see the three switches he hits are power to shields, power to engines, power to weapons. So, yeah, like it is an actual startup sequence.
Yeah.
And
That's cool.
the official terming for it is gold standard pass means to rework the vehicle to a level of completion that includes all possible and relevant vehicle features thus far implemented. For example, cockpit buttons and replacement and place cockpit button placement and animations, updated metrics passes on characters and items, physicalized and accessible vehicles components, light-in passes, and material passes.
Okay.
So there you go.
That's pretty cool. Thank you.
And so far, we have the Gladius, the Saber, the A2 Starlifter, the Inferno, the Ion, the C2, and the M2.
Those are all the gold standard, current gold standard.
Current
Okay.
gold standard. Yep.
Okay. Right from the
Heck yeah.
horse's mouth of CIG, I assume.
Yep.
Cool. So next up is something I know that holds a very dear place in said Demias' heart as a light fighter is the Asperia Blade.
Ooh.
You want to go ahead and start this conversation off on that ship there, buddy?
Yeah. All right. So the blade. As we were talking about the Gladius and the arrow, the blade, in my personal opinion, is the alien equivalent to those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's near arm par with nimbleness. Actually, if I had to say, the blade is an in-between to both the Gladius and the arrow.
Okay.
Now that I'm really thinking about it. It's a little less nimble than the arrow, a little more hard-hitting. I think it has a little bit more hole than the arrow, a little less than the Gladi.
Just kind of
the
a
hard-
mixture of both.
Yeah, the hard points are really interesting, though, everyone. It's their, I believe it's plasma-based weaponry.
Yep.
The weapons themselves kind of act somewhat ballistic-y, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the main like machine gun on it, it's only like a 30 rounds, right?
Yep.
But it shoots like a chain gun, like a like a
A regular ballistics.
yellow.
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, yellow jacket or whatever,
yeah.
whatever the one chain gun is. But then, just like a laser, it recharges. But this one, unlike the CF series, recharges very quick.
Yep.
So it's a very unique damage, like weapon. And on top of that, when plasma damage is completed, those main cannons for it are going to light fires on ships and light them on fire and melt stuff.
Yep.
Because it's plasma based.
I can't
Which will
wait
be
for
really
damage
cool.
archetypes to come out. That is going to
I
be
wonder.
what?
Go ahead. Oh, I wonder if that's gonna be for the glaive as well.
Yeah, because it has
Yeah,
the same kind of
it's,
guns almost. Yeah, I mean it's
Yep.
Heck yeah,
When-
that's gonna be cool.
when the damage archetypes actually come out. Like there's the laser, there's the ballistics, and then there's the plasma. And I think they're doing another one. I don't know if that's ship combat or FPS combat wise, but they're
Disruptor damage.
yeah. So disruptors and distortions and whatnot. So
Electric damage, yeah.
it's gonna make a difference on your loadout. Like they're gonna make it to where it really boils down to how well do you know your ship, what kind of time did you spend on the outfit of it, and the defense propagations of it, you know. So they're really making it more intricate, and it's going to come down to who has not only just skill, but just based on like what kind of damage propagation you're going to be doing as well, and how well you're set up to defend against it.
Yeah.
So
And another cool thing about the blade aesthetically, again, is that the missiles come out of the top of it, which is just so freaking cool.
Ooh,
Oh,
I didn't
and
know
the
that.
orange. Yeah. So we should go into all that too, right? So the wings have moving architecture on them when you swap to different weapons. The ion trail is a really, really cool, like dark orange.
Mm-hmm.
And the ship itself just gives off like this sinister,
Yeah.
almost Cylon look
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Since you introduced me to that ship, that has been like my favorite light fighter. I think I was telling these guys earlier, I think the Gladius is the best light fighter, but my favorite light fighter also would have to be the Blade.
You
Yeah.
know,
Sure, that's my
I
go-to.
have to mimic that. You guys knew exactly, like, the blade always holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Even though I don't consider it, like Weezy is saying, the best. It is. It's cool factor. Just enough said.
Style
Yeah.
points to the max, my man.
So I've got a good story about the blade for me.
The blade
So
or the
it's
glaive?
The blade.
Okay.
So, right when I joined you guys, right when Vintage pulled me in, met everybody. I think it was maybe my second or third time playing with you guys, and we were doing bunkers. I think I pulled up in my Aurora or whatever, and then I see D come in the blade. And I'm like, oh my god, what is that? And D was like, oh, it's the blade. If this is one of the alien ships in the game. I was like, man, that is so cool. He's like, dude, go get in it. I was like, huh? I said, I'm not gonna get in now. I'm gonna blow it up. He's like, I don't care if you blow it up. He said, go get in it. Go have fun. And like at that point, I was like, oh man, these are my people. Like that was like my first most memorable experiences in Star Citizen and in our org. And I got in that ship and was like, oh my god, this is so cool. It was amazing, man. All the weapon noises were different. It's just so cool. It got me hooked in the alien ships.
Yeah, that different glow, like even the landing glow is like this
Yes.
real nice orange, just like
The
it
ship
makes
light
you
is
scared
red.
of it.
Like when you turn the lights on for the ship,
Yeah.
it's red. It's not like a
Yeah.
white color like the rest of the ships. It's freaking red.
Yeah.
It's creepy as get out, man, and
It
it's
is.
made to look sinister because I mean it's Squadrons 42's protagonist, but
And I will say if
Or
the rest of the Vandal look anything similar, they hit the mark on that one. That's going to be
Yeah.
really cool, flying into
Yeah.
waves of Vandal.
yeah,
And couple that to the fact that, as an org, we use mostly Dust Up, at least, Reaper Squad,
Yeah.
which is black and red. That just makes the perfect
Yep.
ship
Yeah.
aesthetic combo for us right there.
yep,
Yeah, true.
agreed. Speaking of
Yeah.
another alien ship, though, we have one of my personal favorites, the Talon. That thing sounds amazing.
Scares me.
I love the ship almost as much as y'all probably love the blade, but the fact that I can stick two size 4 ADB 4s on there, I mean, it just sells it for me. But it runs out of
Yeah.
ammo pretty quick if I do that. But
I
regardless,
was going to say I've never flown one, but they are annoying to fight.
They're god awful to fight. Finish has blown me up so many times in that ship. That's
love
like
it.
my kryptonite, man.
I love it, man. You ain't hitting me,
Finish
that
was-
sucker. That thing is so
Finish
quick
was
and
saying-
nimble.
Finish will say, hey, let's go dogfight. Okay. Meet me here. Okay. What are you in? You'll find out. As soon as I get there, I see the town. I'm like, I'm gonna blow up again. Because I would always pull the glaive, and I just cannot keep up with him.
Yeah, the glaive
Yeah.
is that's like a heavy fighter, isn't it?
That's a medium fighter.
Medium?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cannot keep up.
I mean, I like the concept of the missile variant of it as well, because you just think about it and like you think about the gameplay that you gotta have with that version, and you can't really linger in battle. I feel like your whole purpose is to hop in, get your load off, pause, and then hop out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, they have one job, and that is to go in there and cause as much destruction as possible and get out quick. Like, yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. That's just one of those alien ships that I've really enjoyed flying over any of the other ships in games. Like, it's not the best ship, but it is a cool ship, just like y'all with the blades and whatnot. So.
Yeah, aesthetically wise, I like how it looks like a bird.
Yeah. I like the folding wing animations and everything that it does when you do the landing gear too and everything. It just going through quantum travel, seeing like a different style of a quantum travel animation that's going on. I think that's cool as well. So
Yeah.
oh gee, what's the last ship on the list there?
Last ship on our list is the Mustang Delta.
Oh, that thing. Has anybody flown one of those?
I have.
That was my
Never.
starter.
The Delta?
Oh no, nope, not the Delta. No.
'Cause I know the Omega's the start. I think it's the Omega's the starter.
Yep,
think
it is
it's-
the Omega. Yep.
Mustang
Yeah.
Alpha. It's the Alpha. The Mustang Alpha is the starter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Mustang Delta, have you actually flown the Delta? Because that's the fighter variant.
Yeah,
I have never flown the Delta.
I don't want to fly the Delta.
You've never flown it? What about you, D?
Nope, never touched them.
Oh.
I don't want to fly it.
Does anybody have anything to say on the Delta? I mean, I feel kind of bad for the ship now.
Damn, no love for the Mustang.
You know, I'll
Yeah.
say I've never really fought them either.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
I'm
NPC
thinking
wise,
about
but I
it.
don't think they're flying the Deltas either.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta have a Mustang event now.
Oh god.
We gotta have an in-game Mustang event.
I
I'm gonna
guess
catch
get some
COVID.
more. I mean, I threw it on the list just because it was a light fire, but I was like, man, somebody's got to be able to talk something about these. But
All right.
I don't know.
It's a Mustang. It's Delta. That's it.
Why are the Mustangs? why do the Mustangs have such a bad rap? What do you guys take on the Mustangs in general?
Mustang
So-
has hurt my heart
wow,
All
what did it
of
do to
them.
you?
because they look so cool, but they're just not
The
what they need to
Mustang?
be. I'm not a fan. You could give me one and I would give it back. That's just how I'm feeling. And I know what I'm saying is ugly. I'm not an ugly person. I just don't like it.
Sorry, CIG.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
there's just so many other things that do.
So much more
Better.
and are better at it.
Yeah, like and no matter what Mustang variant you get, like if it's Mustang Alpha, Delta, whatever, Charlie, it just feels like why get it when you could just get a Gladius?
Yep.
Like-
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Yeah.
was why it was last on the list because nobody wanted to talk shit.
Yeah.
Put it right there in the front
Yeah.
and just been done with it.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Because even in real world, right, you have so many cars, right, in the same category, but there's some cars that, it's like it might not be a bad car, but it's like, why would I spend so much money on this when I could get that?
Yeah. This
Alright.
is true. This is like a Florida
thing
man
is-
spaceship. That's what it is.
Yeah, and it's such an entry level ship. I think people even if they get it, they only hold on to it for a very short amount of time because they
Before
put
they
more
upgrade.
money in. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Because I think many players who buy this who buy into Star Citizen upgrade their basic package at least once.
At least. Bare minimum.
Yeah,
I've
it's-
upgraded it I don't know how many times.
A
It's
lot.
like seeing a player in an Aurora. Like you'll see one at Jump Town and you feel bad for it, right? Like
So you shoot it down.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'll
Okay, so
blow
it
shit up
depends.
and
It
then I'll
depends on
send
the
him money
person
and tell him,
who's at
go
Jump
buy
Town.
yourself a real ship.
It depends on the person though who's flying that Aurora, who's at Jump Town. Because if it's a veteran who's in an Aurora, you probably ain't gonna shoot it down. Not very easily.
Gone.
Yeah.
Because the Aurora's flight characteristics are so overpowered because it is a newbie ship, so
Yeah.
they give them that extra little boost.
I guess.
It has crazy like pitch, yaw, turn, all that stuff. It
Yeah.
is kind of crazy.
So
All right,
Plus-
guys. Auroras versus Mustangs. Boom.
I'm giving it to the Auroras, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, that's
many
his
give them
event.
two-
That's his event that he's talking about. He's doing Aurora versus Mustang. Everybody's going to be an Aurora.
But that's honestly that's a good question though for this chat, for this conversation right here. A real question: Aurora versus Mustang Delta versus the Combat Aurora version.
Aurora.
Does the Mustang have a bed in it?
Nope.
Aurora, hands down.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
All right. So what about this? So you had to rock one light fighter through an entire patch. All right. We know how long patches can come and go.
are we
What are
talking
you
about
picking?
like? Hang on. So are we talking about the first main patch? Okay, so like we're on 319.1. Are we still talking about
Let me rephrase that.
319.2? Is that a
Let me
different
rephrase
patch?
that. Let me redo this. So you had to rock one light fighter through a patch, not through a patch, doesn't matter. What are you picking out of this list?
Gladius.
Talon.
Gladius.
Gladius. I'm
Talon.
right there. Gladius.
Storage space, the gun racks. If I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a light fighter, that's probably the most efficient one. Quite
Yeah.
honestly.
This is true.
But y'all lucky the cutter ain't on here. Lucky the cutter ain't on here. Man, I got my cutter hot pink and ready to go. Scooting and booting.
You
take
can't fit
down
any
Idris.
vehicles in the Titan, can you?
what?
Can you fit any vehicles in the Titan?
Maybe a PTV.
No, I don't think the door's wide enough for a PCV.
I don't even know.
But you can fit a Gravlev in there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, you're gonna die, but I mean,
Yeah. Until
That
they
might
fix
make
the
it. I mean,
physics.
if things were stable, that
Right.
might give a good case for the Titan.
yeah,
You could have a
That's
ground. You could have
Yeah.
I mean, if the Rangers were in the game, you could maybe have one or two
We're
Rangers.
not going to talk about those.
Yeah.
No, we're not talking about the Rangers. That's
Yeah.
pouring salt
There
on
we
the wound
go.
over here.
That's the big surprise for Citizen Con this
You
year.
shut your
The
whore
Ranger.
mouth. You shut your whore mouth.
D's just gonna
I
send Vintage a
wish.
video.
And see, that's okay. So we're gonna get a little off topic because we were just talking about fighters, but because you brought that up, it has opened the doorway. They in 320 are talking about wheeled vehicle physics.
Yep.
What I heard, that's the thing that was holding up the Rangers.
Yeah,
Yep.
Where's my damn bike at, CIG? I want my bike, and I want it
yeah,
now.
fucking
JG
Ford
Wentworth
Ranger?
stuff going on over here. That's my bike, and I want it now. Hope I don't get demonetized for that or
Gee,
anything.
Wentworth.
Nope. Anyway,
I want my bike now. So everyone,
all right. Let me hear this
So
Florida
what-
man you got for me today.
what we got today. This kind of made me giggle a little bit. Florida man hospitalized after iguana runs into bike, causing him to crash. A 62-year-old marathon man requires stitches to his head Thursday after an iguana ran in front of his bicycle and caused him to crash. There was no reported life-threatening injuries except for maybe the iguana. Could you imagine being
How
retired?
big was this iguana?
Iguanas get pretty big. Iguanas get like probably 3.5, 4 foot long.
Yeah.
They can
Wow.
get huge.
They
So,
do.
You imagine being retired, right? Living in your gated community, 60-something years old, and then Edith down the road keeps wondering where you're at. So finally, she comes up, she knocks on the door. John, where you been? Ain't seen you in a week. And you have to tell her that you we're in the hospital because you busted your head open because an iguana ran out in front of you and you crashed.
You know, it was probably Edith's iguana.
So then
Sounds
Edith,
personal, man.
Edith tells the whole neighborhood, now you're known as Iguana Man.
Is that what he's known as? Does the report say that?
Iguana Man.
Iguana
It's the title
Man.
of this headline.
Oh my god.
He did something to that iguana.
I want to know.
Look.
Okay, so what I want to know is did the iguana just kind of run out in front of him like a scared deer on a back highway, or did it just like run smack dab into the spoke?
Look.
Or are we talking about a bicycle, or are we talking about a motorcycle?
This is what happened. This iguana was hanging out with the homies. Okay? Hanging out with the homies.
The homies, the
The
homies,
homies. The homies,
Okay.
fool. The homies.
whatever.
Was hanging out with the homies. And they were all looking. They were sitting on a street eating their bread, whatever else they found on the street, you know, just hanging out like dog nuts. And Iguana looks over to his other iguana buddy and says, man, look at this old motherfucker coming down this road. Watch this. Fucking runs out there. Jumps out in front of the man.
Oh my
Sends him
god.
flying.
That's how I'm feeling.
Oh my god.
This is what happened.
I'm done with you.
Storytelling with Ugle.
No.
We're going to start a series.
Only
God,
in
I hope
Florida.
not. Well, that is it for today. Sorry about Oogle over there and his great storytelling characteristics, but we'll catch you next
Oogle.
time. Y'all have a good one.
Take it easy.
Hey, Mini Vintage here. I just want to say thank you for all those who listen to this podcast. It means a lot to me and my dad. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check the description down below for all our socials. 07 Citizens.